I have this new floor manager, and we're gonna call her Andie. I heard a lot of complaints about her, but I didn't know her personally, so like, who am I to judge? I didn't know the woman personally. So yeah, I was closing with Andie, and she had asked me to leave the department I was in and go help in a different department straightening up. We were super duper slow in the store. And so I'm there, I'm, folding clothes, straightening things, putting things on the hangers, just, straightening. And she's just talking to me. I'm not really responding, but she's just going on a rant. And she does this a lot. Like, she likes to rant a lot. But she's talking to me, and she's like, I can't stand constantly having to tell people what to do. I don't want to be a micromanager. I just, constantly have to tell people what to do. Basically, she's just going on and on and on and on and on about hating telling people what to do. And she goes to say, I don't want to feel like an overseer at a plantation where I constantly have to. She said that, and I just kind of stopped what I was doing. I was like, wait, did she just say that to me? She did. So basically, she says that comment and just keeps talking. And after that, I kind of tuned her out. But I was like, she really did not say that to me. And for the rest of the night, I was just kind of thinking about what she was saying. And I went home and I told my dad. And my dad was like, nah, you need to go to Joe. HR manager, Joe. And I was like, oh, all right. Like, for me, I didn't process it fully because she talks really fast, and I'm in my head, I'm like trying to judge. I'm like, she wouldn't say something like that to me. She knows better than to say that. She's 56 years old, but 56-year-old white woman from Kentucky. So I ended up going into work that Friday. And I pulled my HR manager aside and I said, hey, Joe, like, I really need to talk to you because there was something that was said that I found extremely inappropriate and I feel like you should know about it. So he's like, all right. And he ends up taking me back to his office, and I go on to explain to him what she said. And I told him, I was like, look, as a Black female, to me, that was highly inappropriate and just, basically out of pocket. And the fact that she felt okay saying that makes me uncomfortable, because the fact that she says that says a lot about her thinking. And, she felt comfortable saying that to me. And yeah, so I'm saying this. Joe was just nodding along with it, like, okay, all right. I hear you. I understand you. And when I'm finally finished, he was like, the funny thing is, Andie came into me as soon as I came through the door to tell me about that incident. And I was like, really? It was like, yeah, like she just feels so bad about it, and she didn't know if she could come to you about it. Like, she wanted me to talk to you first to see if you took it that way. So basically, Andie didn't feel comfortable talking to me. This 56-year-old woman did not feel comfortable talking to me, the 19-year-old girl, about her inappropriate comments. So instead, she goes for somebody else. I mean, he is my HR manager. But to me, the whole situation was, kind of like, I don't know. It was immature how, like, she handled it. And the thing is, I had to go to my HR manager about it. He didn't come talk to me and pull me aside or anything. Like, if he heard about it before I came to him, why isn't he talking to me? Like, why did I have to go to him first? And he claimed that he was gonna pull me to the side and talk to me about it. But I was at work for about an hour and a half, and he did not say anything. We saw each other a couple of times, and he likes to joke a lot about my dog. And he had time to joke around about my dog, but didn't have time to talk to me about this whole incident. So, at that point, I was like kind of annoyed because I'm like, oh, well, obviously none of this is really taken serious. He goes on to say, do you want Andie to come in here and apologize? And I was like, yeah, she could come in. She can apologize, that's okay. Sure, whatever. So he goes and grabs her, and she comes in, and automatically she starts crying. And I'm like, oh, here we go. It's more, she felt embarrassed and everything. And in my head, I'm like, you should feel embarrassed. Like, what made you, out of everything you could have said, any analogy you could have made, you had to pick the overseer at a plantation and say that to your African American employee? Like, of course you feel like you should feel embarrassed. And the fact that she was crying just like honestly made me more annoyed. So she's crying, and like she goes on to say that she didn't realize she didn't process what she had said until she got into her car, and that, she's not racist and she doesn't see color. I'm not going to even go into that comment, but she doesn't see color apparently. And, and just that she sees me as one of her granddaughters, and the fact that I felt uncomfortable, So, like, just made her feel so bad. And she's, like, literally apologizing and crying for 10-15 minutes. And I kind of told her, I was like, look, like, you have to be careful about what you say and who you say it to, because it wasn't inappropriate. And that in a position she's in, like, to me, there's really no excuse for what she had said. Because the fact that as old as you are, the position you're in, the fact that you felt comfortable enough to have that slip out your mouth says a lot about your thinking, your upbringing, the people you hang around, your family, a lot of that. Just, it automatically gives me like, okay, you're a racist. You are ignorant, So, yeah. So, basically, for about 10-15 minutes, she's apologizing. Eventually, I'm like, all right, okay, fine, good. Can I leave now? Because at that point, I was super uncomfortable, and I ended up going back on the floor, and she goes home. That's the end of that for that day. So that was a Friday. The following day, Saturday, I had to go into work, and someone had printed papers of a group of people who have been going to different stores of ours and basically shoplifting, and they were able to get a picture of them. So they had the picture like taped up in the on the table in our coffee room and everything. And Andie's talking at the morning meeting saying,
oh, it won't be hard to identify them. We don't get a whole lot of them, in the store.
Excuse me, who's them? And then she goes on to say, this is not Tampa. Which, if you live in this area, you know the demographic, and we don't have a whole lot of ethnicity in the area. But she, just that extra comment on top of the things she had said before. When I heard that she said that, I was like, oh no. And then there was an issue with, just her continuing to make inappropriate comments. And so at that point, I decided to go to my general manager, because to me, this lady doesn't comprehend that you cannot say certain things. So fast forward to the Monday that was coming up, I go to my general manager. She was on vacation apparently, and I told her the whole situation, and this woman was in shock because what Andie has said shocked her. But my HR manager, Andie, no one went to her about the whole incident. And she's like, this is unacceptable. Our company does not stand for this, But basically, she took it to my regional HR director. And at the moment, it's in their hands. So, I forgive you. I'm not going to hold any grudges. But, you said what you said. You did what you did. And there's consequences. But this story is just to, let y'all know, if you feel disrespected, if you feel discriminated against, any type of you feel uncomfortable by what people say or do in your workplace, and it's not right, speak up for yourself, because honestly, you truly have ignorant people out there that don't think before they talk and act. And this is a perfect example of, you know, that situation. No matter how old or how young they are, you know, this just shows you to speak up for yourself and, you know, call people out on their, you know,